Hi, this is Lindsay Clandfield, and this is In the Studio. In this short series of videos, I'm looking at ways of troubleshooting typical problems that language teachers have when you're teaching online. And today's issue is the perennial question, why aren't they talking? This is a problem for language teachers, not just in the online environment, but in face-to-face classes. Anytime we put students in pairs and groups to do communicative speaking activities, there often comes that situation where we're confused or frustrated that students just aren't speaking. I think this has been around probably ever since we've had communicative activities in the class where the students have to speak on their own without directly interacting with the teacher. However, in the online classroom, if you're teaching live online lessons, this situation probably will arise when you're using a breakout room. So a breakout room is a feature of like video conferencing platforms such as Zoom or Microsoft Teams, where you can divide your video conference into smaller little rooms. So you can have groups go off in pairs and threes and so on and do a task where they're speaking on their own. Yeah, so this is ideal in a way for language teaching because it allows you to recreate that idea of pair work and group work, and students can kind of communicate and get a task done and therefore increase the amount of student talking time. The problem arises is when you, the teacher, go to visit the breakout rooms and you see that people just aren't speaking. So why might this be, and what can we do about it? There are several reasons why this might be happening. The first reason that I've noticed when I start doing breakout rooms with students in online lessons is at the very beginning, I realized suddenly that many of my students didn't even know they were in a breakout room. Okay, so all of a sudden things went quiet for them. They couldn't hear me anymore, and they hadn't quite understood that I was putting them in a breakout room. So if at the beginning, when you're beginning to introduce breakout rooms, make this clear. Do a test run with them first, a short test run, so that they know when they are in a breakout room and when they are not. Okay, because sometimes the transition happens very quickly and they may think they are in the main room. Another problem may occur when there's a technological problem for the student. So that means that perhaps their mic has suddenly gone off, their audio isn't working, or something is happening with their internet connection and the technology is acting up, which is therefore meaning that they are dropping in and out of the video conference, and that's why they're not speaking. So one thing to do about this when you are beginning to start using breakout rooms is to give students a dry run of sort of typical technology troubleshooting tips. Things like getting them to know how to check their microphone, know how to check their internet connection, make sure that they're still online, and what to do if they get kicked out, how to get back in again. If a student is kicked out of the video conference and they come back in, you may have to reassign them a breakout room. So make them know of the potential pitfalls of what can happen. The next two problems occur in speaking activities, even in the face-to-face classroom, but they can be accentuated in the online classroom. The first is that students sometimes don't engage in a speaking activity because they aren't sure what to do. So it's not enough just to ask them, did you understand? Do you know what you're supposed to do? You need to check it. So I would say make your instructions very clear. Check them by doing a demonstration in front of the other students of the kind of thing you want to do. And to sort of sum it all off, put the instructions on a slide. So once the instructions are clear, the students should have a better idea of what to do and be able to start speaking and do the task. The second problem is sort of related, is that they don't know what to say. So you've given them a task to do. They know what the task is, but they just don't know what to say. And here I'd say two things. They need time, so give them some thinking time before you put them in the task for the breakout rooms, and maybe elicit a couple of examples first of what they might say. So give them some time. And secondly, give them specific outcomes. I find this is even more crucial when I'm doing breakout room tasks. So with low levels, it may be a specific outcome should be something like, try to say 3 sentences. Make 3 sentences between you. Try to say 3 things. Try to say 2 true things and 1 invented thing, whatever it is, but give something specific, like with numbers, so that then it's easier to check back, and also they have a specific goal to aim for. Finally, sometimes students may be quiet when you enter the breakout room simply because they're being polite. They've suddenly noticed that you have come in. It's even more so if you have your camera on and therefore you suddenly appear in the breakout room. So that suddenly will cut off any communication. This is different in the online classroom than it is in the face-to-face, where you can discreetly circulate and monitor pairs. With breakout rooms, it's difficult to become discreet like that until they get used to it. So in those cases, when you come into the breakout room, if there's a silence, acknowledge that there is a silence and ask them to recap what they had just been saying, or check that they understand what they're supposed to do and report something to you specifically. Slowly, they'll get used to the idea of you appearing in and out of the breakout rooms, but it will take some time. While these tips may not solve all your problems of why students may not be speaking, hopefully they will go some way to helping you develop speaking activities and run speaking activities in the online classroom with breakout rooms that have more chance of producing student talk. Good luck with it, everybody.